and welcome back to GFF and Friends, the podcast for autumn babies.
Oh.
It's almost finally fall. You guys were like a week away, I think, and it feels so nice. Hello, I am your host, GFF Todd, and joining me, as always, is my teeny tiny, adorable little husband,
R.O.B.
Rob. Yeah, GFF and R.O.B. Hey.
Hello. Hi.
How's it going?
Swell. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Sunday. We're a little early today.
It's a sleepy Sunday.
It's a sleepy Sunday. It's finally, I say finally like it's been like a rough summer. It has been chilly and beautiful in Seattle all summer, but it's finally fall weather. It's rainy and cloudy.
Yeah, it's finally raining. That's the important thing. Like
low 60s.
Temperate temperatures, is that right?
Sure.
They're whatever, but like it's all about the rain.
Yeah, and like we've said it before, a lot of people don't know, it does not rain in the summer in Seattle. That's a thing. It's very dry here. All the grass dies. It gets very dusty. And
you kind of forget why you're here.
Yeah, but then all of the rain for the year happens in the winter and the spring, partially in the fall. So we're finally back into those sweet, sweet rain days.
Like the only problem is we are getting into the shorter days, which like within reason, nice.
Yeah,
but we're about to get into the part where it just becomes a little bit too much of a good thing.
Known locally as the long dark.
Yes, when it starts getting dark around 4 p.m.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've experienced both extremes living here of the sun in the summer sets after 10 p.m. and in the winter it sets at 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, so we're all buckling up for that because that is a thing that we are all prepared for and just expecting, and
it's just a thing. We've been here for 3 years and we're officially in it now. We realize we're P&Wers now.
Yeah, vitamin D supplements, lights in my office.
You have, what's it called, a happy light or something?
Yeah, I have a happy light in the office.
And at the end of every season, I'm always ready for the next season to start. Excuse me. I'm always ready for the next season to start. So classic Todd.
Yep,
but
this is the grass is greener moment where he's just so ready for the changeover. But also, like, I don't know, we're getting into the holidays and shit that you like.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I enjoy them too, but like, he's the one that, dresses up the house.
We bought a pumpkin.
The first pumpkin of the year has been bought.
Yeah, today's the 15th, and we bought a pumpkin.
So yeah, it's starting. Yeah.
And I think I like to wait till after September 15th to actually like decorate for Halloween. So I'll probably pull out some of the jack-o'-lanterns this week, maybe put up the outdoor skeletons. I'll dabble. I like to put things here and there for like a week or two. I don't do it all at once.
Yeah, we get that 2 weeks of bins in that one room, which is fine. I don't care.
Yeah. Also, what I wanted to talk about right off the top, we have a little housekeeping. We made a mistake last week. Our What's Your Order was about potatoes.
Tragic omission.
And I cannot believe I forgot one of the most important potatoes of all time, which is potato salad. I literally let down the mayonnaise community because that is my favorite mayonnaise-based salad. It is perfect for summer. My mom's recipe is my favorite recipe, and I think that's global for everyone. Everyone's favorite recipe is what their mom made or maybe their grandma. But yeah, I apologize. I forgot potato salad. I think because you don't eat potato salad ever. So it's not even on your plate.
No, I'm late to the potato salad game because my family started doing a different kind of potato salad recently that is much more Rob friendly.
What?
Well, because potato salad usually has like a mustard element or like a relish element kind of, I think, often in it. Remember my family started doing that one that's basically like new potatoes, dill, mayo, and like it's almost kind of more Greek.
Oh wait,
than anything else.
I think your mom literally uses like Greek yogurt and mayonnaise.
Like
I remember that.
It's a very much more, I'd say it's a more contemporary,
a lighter fare,
a little bit, or more worldly. It's less American for sure. It doesn't feel like something you get in an American potluck necessarily, but it's just like I consider it a little bit elevated just because I don't associate it with necessarily like picnic food. I think I also have a lot of stigma around picnic food just because I always envision it with flies on it, even if it's indoors.
It's just like, a mental image in your head.
Yeah, it's just outdoor food that just
association.
Upsets me a little bit. I don't know.
Because also you don't like eating on the ground.
Yeah, I don't like eating outdoors or on the ground. Like, God, I sound like such a nightmare.
It's funny. I just realized, like literally just realizing when we talked about sushi with Kendra, the first time I had sushi was in, which I don't think anyone does anymore, like the traditional sushi way where you sit crisscross, take your shoes off, sit crisscross on a floor, like on a mat.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot and that was in Evansville, Indiana. But the first time I had sushi like that, I sat crisscross.
Was it my first time having sushi was, or like in a sushi restaurant rather. I didn't have sushi, but because I was a kid, was in Palmdale in a little restaurant called Takeo's. He has since retired. But like my family, like they had like their names on sake boxes, on the shelf because it was a small town and they were frequenters.
Yeah.
But like they had normal seating and they had one tatami room, which was the mats with the low, the table that you took off your shoes and sat there. But like, and yeah, you had to reserve the tatami room if you wanted to have it. But like, I remember that was like a thing. And my first experience there was in the room because it was a very big deal.
Yeah.
And as a kid, that was so fun. Getting to take your shoes off at a restaurant
and
sit on the floor.
Seriously, it just adds. Oh, hi, Ruby. That just adds to the pomp and circumstance of sushi, which is what I love. I love pomp and circumstance.
Ceremony.
I love ceremony and routine. I wish more restaurants served food like that because even though you're on the ground and everyone's exposed feet are exposed. I don't know what I was trying to say, but it feels very clean. Like those restaurants felt cleaner than normal restaurants.
Well, also, I guess, at the time, like my family, it's funny, like we are very much a flip-flop family, I feel.
Oh, very much. Everyone.
At the time, we weren't. I feel like at the time there were a lot more socks going on.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid and we were doing that. Like it's weird. I have a hard time imagining going to a tatami room and taking off my shoes and being barefoot.
I want to say
being socked.
The one we went to might have had house slippers for people. Like you take your shoes off and put on
like disposable.
Not even disposable. Just you share them with people.
All right then.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I at least see like a stocking foot rule similar to like a twister kind of situation. Like no, you need socks.
Yeah.
Like
we have loaner pantyhose so you can try them on.
Exactly, like a shoe store.
Yeah.
You can try on the store sock.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I haven't seen one of those restaurants in forever.
Yeah.
And you'd think they'd be a hit with like TikTok.
Right? Well, I feel like sushi also unfortunately got co-opted a little bit into the rock and roll sushi where you sit at long tables or you do sake bombs and it becomes more of a shift.
You order a big boat of sushi.
Yeah, I do love a sushi float restaurant though, or like a conveyor belt sushi situation.
Those are so fun,
where
but
there's a
they're
constant
dangerous.
stream of it. Oh, very dangerous.
You're like, how did we spend $1,000?
Shit away.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just fun to watch the tower of plates grow.
I like the one where like each plate is like color coded with like a barcode or something, and when you finish it, you put it in the thing, and that's when it scans it.
So I've never gotten to use one of those, but I love the TikTok videos of it. Like, I want to put they're like oversized coins for a token slot.
Yeah.
Anywho, but yeah, I feel like sushi's kind of become very much like the supermarket grab and go, or like party hardy half price all day rock and roll thing.
Yeah.
And we've lost a little bit of the, traditional show. A little
of the elegance,
right?
Of sushi.
Yeah, I guess, and like
it definitely cheapened it.
And now if it's more of a show, it's like you're sitting at the bar watching a master work.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's changed away from like the service-based tatami room thing.
Yeah. Let's take a break for like 1 second so we can let Ruby out because she's roaming and jingling a lot. So will you just open the door and kick her out real fast?
Okay, but I was petting her earlier when she was, speaking of being on the floor, I was petting her when she was on the floor.
And we're back.
The second co-host has left.
Yeah, we had to kick Ruby out.
She jingled her way out of here.
She was like, we set this up in our bedroom and it's very much set up. Like it's stored in a corner all week until we film and I pull it out and set everything up. So she's exploring and sniffing new spaces that are normally covered up by a desk. And she's just about.
And we've done like one episode where she was completely passed out on the bed.
And it was good.
But yeah, she was busy, getting excited about licking some feet, her feet, and then and then roaming a lot. So yeah, and then maybe next time we just have to take her collar off. That way if she roams, it's not a big deal.
She is a sniffy baby.
Although seriously, if she walks by me, I'm going to lean and pet her, as I did earlier.
That's the law. You have to.
Yeah, them's the rules.
Yeah. But anyway, like we were saying, back to potato salad. Sorry that we forgot potato salad.
Excuse me.
I make my mom's recipe usually like once or twice in the summer because I'm literally making it for myself. I have kind of figured out a way to make a serving of one or like enough serving that I can eat it for like 2 days before it goes bad. But potato salad is hard to make for one person. Especially my mom's recipe, which, I know it's like a bag of potatoes, a thing of eggs, a whole thing of celery. My mom's recipe is very easy, but breaking it down, you know how hard it is to buy one stalk of celery? It's almost impossible.
Well, that's what you gotta find other stuff for the celery. We just need to open up our celery repertoire.
Yeah. But it's very well, and I have been doing that a lot this summer. I've been getting carrots and celery and peeling them and cutting them up into sticks and making what my family calls dunk, which is literally just a packet of Hidden Valley Ranch powder in a thing of sour cream. But it makes the best dip, and it's got to be Daisy sour cream. That's the best sour cream.
I've learned so much living with Todd.
If you want to go full dunk, like my mom makes, you also add cottage cheese. But that's like a meal. Like my mom's dunk is like a meal.
Well, and every time you say dunk, I always think you're just shortening Dunkaroos, and I'm like, wait, they didn't do that. That was just like cookies and chocolate frosting, which were delicious. I loved Dunkaroos.
I've never had them. I don't think.
Oh my god, you don't just dip, you Dunkaroos. Like it was the whole jingle, and like they had a talking Australian kangaroo as their mascot. It was very cute.
Yeah, I know there's a kangaroo involved, and they're back. You can buy them again.
What?
Yeah, remember we saw them at Costco. Like they're back.
I forgot about Dunkaroos.
But my mom wouldn't buy stuff like that for us. Because a house of three growing boys, it would last a day maybe, and it was just cookies and icing. Like it's just candy, for lack of a better word. And my mom wouldn't buy it because it would be instantly gone as soon as she brought it home.
Well, no, that makes sense. I was the endless maw at home, but like I was the only one.
You didn't have to share it with anyone.
Yeah, so like,
and you fill up quickly.
Well, not as a kid I didn't, or a teenager I certainly didn't. But like Costco, we were at Costco family shopping for like a family of like 3 to 4, given on depending on the year. We were not shopping for that many mouths, but we still went to Costco.
Yeah, we had Sam's Club because Costco didn't exist in Missouri at the time. We had Sam's Club, and I think my parents only had a membership for 1 year because we didn't go enough. But when we went, I remember we would always get the Ocean Spray variety pack of juices in glass bottles because my parents to this day love like cran grape. And my brothers and I, because it's drinkable sugar, we would drink them in a week, and my parents would get mad, and we'd go through a case of Ocean Spray in a week, and we'd all get in trouble. And so, we stopped going to Sam's Club. I forget there was another thing we always got at Sam's Club. It was a food. Oh, giant jar of pickles. That's what it was. But like the gigantic, like catering size jar of pickles, and they would be gone in a week, and my parents would get mad. So we never went back to the bulk shopping. Yeah. Because boys will just eat you out of house and home.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so more on the potato salad. Is there more to your potato salad?
Well, situation? I wanted to talk about my mom's recipe, which is really easy. It's pretty basic, but it's boiled. It's got to be red potatoes, which are a meatier potato when they're cooled after they're boiled. I feel like they have like a better bite. They stick together.
They're like a waxy, right?
Yeah. They're kind of waxy. I like to leave the skins on. You can do it without skins, which is how my mom does it. It's a very, very clean potato salad for Susie. I like it with skins.
How we've embraced the skins in the last like decade. I feel like it's become much more acceptable.
I like
for
the
skin on.
Snap and bite of the skin.
Right.
And it's tasty. And as far as the internet's concerned, that's where all the vitamins are.
Well, in preparation wise, that's where all my patience doesn't get used up.
Because you hate peeling potatoes?
Just in general, it's another step I can cut out.
Correct.
Nice.
But red potatoes, hard-boiled eggs, just chopped up. You don't like mix the yolks into the sauce or anything. You just chop up the hard-boiled eggs. Celery, and then Hellmann's mayonnaise, yellow mustard, and garlic salt. And that's the recipe. And then I like, when I serve it, when I eat it on my plate, then I crack pepper on top. I don't put pepper in it. And the I guess evolution of that recipe is from my grandma, and she added celery seed, which is a very, I feel like, lesser used seasoning, but it's so flavorful. And almost every seasoning salt, like Lowry's has it. If you're ever eating something and you're like, what is that flavor? It's probably celery seed. It's a very aromatic herb, spice. It's probably a spice. And I love it. I think it's delicious, but my mom thought it was too much, and also she didn't like the seeds in her potato salad, so she always left out celery seed. But like they're really good in like Bloody Marys. Celery seed is a very missed out on seasoning. I
Slept
love celery
on.
seed. Yeah, slept on. There you go. People pass it up quite frequently. But yeah, and then the key, I think, to my mom's potato salad is ice cold. Like chill it until it solidifies. It's best when it's like super, super cold. Because I don't know, a lot of salads like that can be sat out on a picnic table all day, like you were saying, covered in flies.
Yeah.
And so by the time people get to it, it's warm. But my mom, the last thing on the table is a potato salad. So it's icy cold and it's so good. Oh my God. It is just a vessel with which to eat mayonnaise. But hey, you can never have too many of those.
I'll stick with the fries.
I was going to say, yeah.
Back to potato. I will stick with the fries for the mayo vessel because no mustard involved. And also, it's funny because I like hard-boiled eggs. I don't like the yolks. I have a hard time with the yolks on those. Like,
I mean, you don't even like that in like a hot fried egg.
Totally, but it's funny. Like I love the idea of a hard boiled egg, and I kind of like the texture of the white of a hard boiled egg. But like, I will peel it, I will open it up, I will take out the yolk, I will literally rinse it under water to get all of that yolk residue out, and then I will enjoy a hard boiled egg.
Rinse the white.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that yolk is nowhere to be found on my hard boiled eggs.
You really do hate it.
I like seriously. Like the more cooked a yolk is, the worse it gets.
Is it a texture thing?
It is the texture of what I imagine the mouse ball would be like if it broke apart because they look the same.
They do look the same. And sometimes they're the same color.
Right, yeah. It's very much a mouse trackball situation. But like it is a texture thing, but really, honestly, it is a flavor and it's a transformed flavor.
It does change.
It's very like, because like I don't like the texture of a cooked yolk in a hot egg, and that's strictly a texture thing, honestly, at that point. But a hard-boiled egg, it is both a texture and a flavor, in that I do feel like the yolk is transformed a bit.
Yeah. Well, and it's like dry, but also a paste at the same time.
It's real weird. But also, I think I might have always had like mega hard-boiled eggs where it's like, the yolk is turned like that green instead of like any yellow anymore.
I'm sure I've seen a scientific explanation on like Alton Brown or something of why certain egg yolks turn green when you boil them.
Right. I'm sure there's something there, but
it's so frustrating.
But I do enjoy hard-boiled eggs, but like I enjoy them in very, very rare situations because I'm not a hard-boiled or a deviled egg guy. Yeah. Obviously because of the mustard element. And so there's a lot and the yolk. That's like seriously, that's both. But yeah, I don't know.
I grew up next door to people that hated hard-boiled eggs so much that their Easter eggs were unboiled and they would just dye. They would just dye Easter eggs and then eat them, but have colored Easter eggs to make like an omelet out of. I'm like, that's so foreign to me. That was always so crazy, even though we grew up next to each other.
Well, I guess if you don't have either a taste for them or a recipe for them, like hard-boiled eggs don't have a lot of purpose for some people.
Right.
Like there's no reason to take them to that stage.
But sometimes I crave them so hard, like specifically a hard-boiled egg, and I like to do the thing, which probably bad for my ticker, but I like to do the thing where I take the hard-boiled egg and just literally dip it in salt and then take a bite, and whatever salt sticks to the freshly unwrapped hard-boiled egg, that's how much salt I'm eating. It's so delicious.
I've never heard of that. That sounds good though, honestly.
I love it. My mom used to do that, or probably still does, and my grandma used to do that with tomatoes. They would just eat tomatoes like apples, and they would just like dip it in salt and just take a bite. I mean,
well, it's like I definitely sprinkle salt on my tomatoes, but I also could eat them without it.
I definitely need to salt the tomato, but also I would much rather have like vinegar on a tomato than salt. Like if I ever got to a point, or cherry tomatoes dipped in ranch, oh my God, that is a delicious flavor. That is one of the only times I'll just eat a cherry tomato like bursting in my mouth, is if it's like covered in ranch or dunk.
Well, it's like of like just salted produce. Like recently, there was that one time we had the most perfect not to brag. We had the most perfect avocado in this house a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And like we were talking about adding it to, I think, a breakfast burrito, and I think you did for you. Yeah. But like it was so perfect that I just scooped that avocado diced out into like a little ramekin or like a prep bowl, just sprinkled salt on it, and I literally just stood in the kitchen and ate it with a spoon.
You just ate it? It was
so good. It was... Oh my God. I've been thinking about that avocado, honestly, since I ate it.
And like, that was like the day we bought it at the store. And I want to say we brought it home.
Yeah.
And like, it felt oddly perfect in the store, like softness. And I was like, this might be ready to go now, which that never happens.
Like super rarity.
And then we opened it and it was like the perfect color, the perfect consistency. It was delicious.
It almost felt a waste for me to put it in something where I wouldn't see it. Like it was a perfect avocado.
Was it poke? I forget why we bought it.
No, I want to say it was breakfast burritos that
Maybe.
like that because it was going to get buried in something.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't want to lose this.
Yeah, and like I will mix an avocado into a poke bowl. I don't care if it gets mashed into paste. It's an important element of my poke bowl.
Yeah.
But like breakfast burrito, I'm usually an avocado toast guy, so I think I was like, oh well, avocado on the side, and then just it became its own feature.
That's so funny because avocados have become there is a new laughable conspiracy theory that is one of my favorites when I see it, and especially when I see it being taken seriously, it makes me laugh so hard. It's so funny. It's this new conspiracy theory that avocados aren't real, and the avocado companies are distributing and selling fake and rubber avocados to somehow steal money from people. I don't really know like how the conspiracy theory makes any sense because just the cost of petroleum to make rubber fruit would be
worse
than high.
Well, whatever I just ate, more please. Like if
well, that one was good,
right? But like seriously, but I mean, like I would think that if we're manufacturing these things, then that means that we would fix the problem where they're either too firm or too ripe. Like at this point, we should have perfect avocados all the time.
Well, that's what I was getting to. So the conspiracy theory is when you occasionally get an avocado that just will never ripen and it stays rock hard forever. It's because it was picked too soon. There's a point in an avocado's life where it is the right size and shape on a tree, but the tree or I think it's the tree hasn't released like the pheromone that ripens the fruit, right? So they have to pick avocados at a very specific time for it to continue ripening once you pick it off the tree. And so I've gotten these kind of avocados before. Like literally they're just picked a tiny bit too soon. They will never soften.
They're a baseball until
they will
death.
Stay like a chewy stress ball forever. And like it doesn't even take like they won't even rot right away. They will stay bright green and rubbery like a stress squeezy ball forever. And people are getting these, and you know how people are on the internet. They're dumb.
Crazy. Seriously, like
correct.
And like I have to keep reminding everyone of the concept of Occam's razor and that the simplest explanation is typically the correct one.
Yeah.
Like seriously, the mental gymnastics that people are willing to jump through to explain the unexplainable when in fact it could just be a you don't get it situation. Like not everything has to be understood by everybody, and that's okay.
And apparently the same thing can happen with like watermelons or something. So there's been this group of people on TikTok. They're all about the same age. And they are very stupid. And they're like, well, it must be a government conspiracy to sell us fake fruit and fake food and not that it's just not ripening correctly. And it is so funny when people do it.
I don't understand.
Well, it's one of those things that if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Right.
You know, it's so sad and so disturbing that if you don't laugh at it, the stupidity of it, you'll cry at the stupidity of it.
But seriously, like, oh God, like being stupid should be painful.
Right.
Like it should hurt. It should not be as pleasing as it clearly is for people.
It should release like a little shock, kind of like one of those bracelets when you're trying to quit smoking.
Right. Well, also, I do feel like we should be in a state now where like on social media, if you willingly or inadvertently share fake news, oh God, I use the phrase fake news, but if you literally share falsehoods,
like an AI picture of Taylor Swift promoting Donald Trump.
Yeah. And but like 3 times, then cool. You're blocked. Like you are, or you're banned, or you're on a cool down for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, or just honestly, like if social media could honestly just like, if bots and AI are so amazing at this point, why do we not have bots and AI to sniff out AI and bot related posts and just mark them as such?
Yeah.
Like that would be the easiest thing. Like if I scrolled through threads and I literally just had like every single like bullshit bot related engagement was just kind of tinted red in the background, just so I knew it, like I just scroll past it. It's just garbage.
Right.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Like
put a filter over it so we can just see that it's bad.
That would literally be social media working hard and making the system better for everybody.
Yeah.
Because seriously, at this point, like I'm so sick of every story being like, Taylor Swift lost $150 million in partnerships. No, she didn't. Like seriously, like the website that was from literally in the corner says that it's a joke. Like the fact that
it has a watermark that this is not real.
Well, and the fact that like there's the one that keeps getting spread the most is like anything from the Dunning-Kruger times. Dunning-Kruger is literally like the situation when you are so dumb that you think that you know more than experts about something. It is a satire site. Like and the biggest issue is also that, like, I hate to say it, that, you know, often conservative satire is not funny. It's just kind of wrong, and it's like wrong enough that like people engage with it to correct it or be angry at it instead of laughing. Well, and like that's where the problem when it comes to like versus The Onion, which is clearly satire.
Why I get so mad about it, because you're ruining the jokes,
right?
For us that love jokes and punchlines and want to like be able to dabble. Like, I love being able to say, well, I think it's a conspiracy theory as a punchline or a joke, but now that I say it, I sound crazy.
Because like
the phrase conspiracy theory has been co-opted by the nut jobs.
Well, and
I want to use it as a joke.
It's been co-opted by loud people with platforms.
Yeah,
it's been normalized and it's been weird. They used to be a joke, and now they're unfortunately an actual facet of the conversation.
Yeah, it is a stupid.
Anyway, sorry, that was a weird soapbox to find our way into.
Hey, I lit your fuse. I knew you were going to go.
Damn
but
it.
All that to say.
Potato salad.
I'm sorry we missed potato salad in the potato box.
That was the longest 26 minutes about potato salad kind of ever.
Right? And I think that's a great close to the summer. Summer's officially over. We talked about picnic foods, and now we're done. And
did we actually have a topic aside from housekeeping about potato salad?
No, not really. We have been watching a lot of movies lately, but I feel like every week all we're doing is talking about movies, and I don't want to be a movie podcast.
And I do feel like based on what we've been watching, we should finish the
franchise.
Let's finish
before we talk about it.
Then we'll talk.
Yeah, because I feel like we've been talking about movies too much.
Right. And I do feel like it's worth having one conversation about the set. Like, especially, like, I feel like there's going to be some interesting ebbs and flows throughout time and stuff on this. Plus, like, I mean, we've given no information. Everyone will ponder. But,
and this isn't GFF and Movies podcast, folks. It's GFF and Friends. And Rob, you
like movies.
You're a friend. Having said that, I think we should move on to our final segment, which is What's Your Order? What's Your Order? And I forgot. We moved on from the Rip and Dip blue shoebox to the handbook for the recently deceased from the Beetlejuice sequel. But again, we don't want to talk about movies, okay?
No.
Not every podcast.
We will have little cameos. It's my turn this week.
Your turn to pick?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Rob, please.
Because I haven't gotten to pick from the 10 yet.
Reach into the 10 and pick this week's What's Your Order topic. Watch it be like movie theater snacks again for some reason. And this week's topic is...
Booze.
Booze.
Which, by the way, thank you for putting booze, because booze is my favorite word for alcohol. Like,
I love it.
It's so funny. I know people who are like, yeah, oh no, I'm not drinking alcohol. Like, and I'm always like, it sounds so like ingredient based.
It's like when people say male and female for human beings.
Yeah. And like I get
hate
it. Just,
it's so gross.
But like, you know, it's the same. It's like seriously, so booze. I love the word booze.
Well, because at first I was like, should I just do wine? And then I was like, no, I got to do hard alcohol. And I was like, no, I got to do beer too, because Rob doesn't drink anything but beer. And really, I mean, occasionally we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, I was like, wow, booze is a big part of my life. That joyfully. Okay, guys, don't worry. I'm okay.
He can quit whenever he wants.
I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Don't talk to me. But yeah, I love booze of many forms. My favorite currently is probably wine. I would say wine is what I drink the most. Mm-hmm. Very much. I just love like an old-timey drunk housewife kind of drinking wine throughout the day with the gals, you know, while the husbands are at work.
Which is funny because you don't drink during the day.
I don't drink. I do love day drinking, but I usually talk myself out of it because, say it'll be...
You're doing it alone usually, if that's the case also.
Almost always alone. And then I think too far ahead in the future and I'm like, okay, it's noon. I could start drinking some wine now, and then I'll pass out, and then I'll have a headache, and then I'll wake up at like 8 o'clock and I'll be starving and a little hungover, which is weird. And then like I'll think out the day because it's happened too many times, so I just don't do it anymore.
Day drinking always makes me think of Pride, and Pride is very much one of those where like I lose sense of time, I get tired, I sleep, I wake up, I keep going. Like every day feels kind of like 2.5 days. It's real weird.
And I can take a disco nap. I'm very much.
I can't.
Disco naps work on me. Yeah. I can sleep for 20 minutes and just rally and rev my engines and go back. But also, again, alone. Day drinking alone is just kind of sad.
And it is a thing where I often feel like if I'm day drinking, well, you have to pace yourself and keep going, because if you stop, you will fall down. But if you keep yourself just adequately paced, you can make it through the day.
Yeah.
Maybe you also have to be drinking the right stuff and being, careful and hydrated and stuff. But like that is a thing where I find if I pace myself, I'm good. If I take a break, I fall.
Yeah.
Or I crash.
But yeah, I love wine right now. I've been drinking a lot of rosé. I usually drink Sauvignon Blanc. I love my Savvy B. I love my Kimmy C Savvy B. But I don't know. When I went home to Missouri, I was drinking rosé with my sister-in-law, and it just kind of hit, and I've been drinking it all summer. It's so delicious.
Well, I feel like pink wine is a very summery thing.
It is, and I love that it's no longer like the chilled, sweet white Zinfandel of our youth, because that in my head was always what pink wine was. It was super sugary. Probably came from a box or a bottle, with a bottle cap on it.
a little tragic, which at least the bottle cap has also been destigmatized.
Well, the twist off, I'm talking about bottle cap like soda.
Oh!
Like Bartles and James. Bartles and James wine coolers.
Oh.
Yeah, those came with like bottle caps.
Yikes.
But yeah, rosé has become classy, and it's delicious. I love it. But it is very sour. It's very tart. So I sometimes go back to my Savvy B. I don't drink a lot of red wine, though. I will drink it at a restaurant with like a steak or something.
I love red wine.
Usually my worst hangovers are red wine hangovers.
Because just to hop in just quickly on wine, because at least I can speak quickly on this one. I don't care for whites. Because I like cold wine. I do like champagne. But and like the drier the better.
Yeah.
But I love I love a dry red. Like I love a red with dinner. I like red wine on its own. Although I rarely drink on its own. It's more of a thing of like, we're having steak, red wine. Having Italian food, red wine.
Yeah.
Like it's very much with something.
You do that with like almost all alcohol. Like everything you drink is usually with a meal.
It is true. I often want to pair something with something.
Yeah.
But yeah, wine, if I'm going to even drink it at all, though, chances are I'm drinking a red. It could be the dead of summer. I will have a Cabernet. I don't care. There's nothing. It's super locked into a certain time. If you give me like the reddest of reds or the whitest of whites, I don't care if it's 150 degrees out. I'm probably going with the red.
I do not like sugar wines of any kind.
Same.
And being from Missouri, there's a lot of wineries in Missouri. A lot of people don't know that, but a lot of wine comes from Missouri, and a lot of the wines are sugar wines, very sweet, very like Moscatos and not Proseccos. What is that red wine? Anyway, it's served chilled, like on the rocks. I remember I went to a winery with my sister-in-law, and she got a bottle of the red. And they were like, "Do you want that chilled?" And she was like, "Yes." And I was like, "You want a refrigerated red wine?" And they brought it out, and they serve it over ice. And I was like, "What is happening?" And I tasted it. It was pure sugar.
Her Bervlinger fruit wine. The dazzling peach crab apple.
Lambrusco. That's what it is. That's the chilled, sweet red wine.
Lambrusco sounds like a word on shuffle. Like that is, or like two words that got in a horrible accident and just cannot be removed from each other anymore.
Yeah. How do they get mashed together?
Seriously, yeah. Lambrusco. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, I don't like sugar wines. I don't like sugar champagnes, but I love champagne. I love a super dry Prosecco or champagne.
So I
love a mimosa.
You're okay with an almond champagne,
occasionally,
right?
But over the last time I had almond champagne, which if you're not familiar, it's like a California thing. It's not Midori. What's the hard alcohol that's made out of almonds? Amaretto. It's amaretto flavored champagne, and it's rich, and it's a bit much. It's dry.
I mean, like
it's
kind
of
sweet.
Sweet.
It was a bit much for me.
Yeah, it's just very bold, and I don't know. It's an acquired taste, and it's okay. If that's all they have, and people are like passing out free drinks or something, I'll take one. But
I want to say also, when we opened it, I think we'd already done like a bottle of champagne, a bottle of Prosecco, and then we got to that. It was like the last one we had, and it was like,
I think we were having like a brunch party or something at our house. So. And it was like, this is all we have left.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, and I'm done drinking. Like, because I thought I was gonna keep going, and then I sip it, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to drink this for the sake of drinking.
She's a lot. So yeah, I usually don't pick up the almond champagne. But yeah, I will say when it comes to like sugar wines, I will drink a mimosa. I love a mimosa, especially like on an airplane or an airport. I love a brunch mimosa, but that's like, again, part of the pomp and circumstance is that you got to get mimosas at brunch.
Well, and right now also you are loving a celebrity wine.
Well, I'm always going to love a celebrity alcohol endorsement. Dolly Parton just came out with a new Chardonnay that I have to go pick up because, I mean, Dolly releases anything. We get her brownie mixes, her cake mixes. I'm going to get Dolly's Chardonnay, okay? And she's also coming out with a Prosecco. But
Kylie
we also
Minogue.
We searched out Kylie Minogue's Proseccos, which are rosé Proseccos. And I have had a bottle in the refrigerator for, I don't know, a year and a half, waiting for the death of one very annoying person, and when that person dies, we will be popping that bottle.
Yeah, we even bought.
Although maybe we'll save it for November when Kamala wins.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We even bought the Blade Runner 2049 Johnny Walker Black.
Yeah,
in the gorgeous, like super cool, modern or futuristic looking bottle. It did not survive the
greatest
move.
Tragedies of my life. It survived the move. I broke it.
I know. I was trying to be generous.
So yeah, let's move on to hard alcohols. For a very long time, especially when I did stand up, I was a vodka girl. I could drink. Literally, there had been times where I drank an entire fifth of vodka in one day, just because vodka's so easy to drink. Vodka soda is like water in the gay community, and there's just easy to throw back, especially like once you get in a groove of drinking, you got a good buzz. The vodka sodas just keep coming. And it's a delicious drink. But I haven't, now that like we don't go out much at all, really, I'm more of a brown liquor person. So I drink a lot of whiskeys and bourbons and stuff, which I just ordered the Beyonce whiskey, which I'm very excited about. It's called Sir Davis. I had to have it shipped to my family's house, or to Rob's family's house in LA, because the state of Washington does not allow hard alcohol to be mailed, which is so stupid. And then none of the liquor stores are going to get it. I'm very angry. I'm very passionate.
But you figured it out. It's okay.
But I figured it out, and it has arrived. Rob's parents were like, it came, we have it, it's in our hands. So I got my bottle of Sir Davis whiskey. I can't wait to try that. But
hard liquor for me. I grew up, came of age being a rum and coke guy, because that was like whatever.
I feel like rum and coke is first of all, it's very European, it's very English. The English love a rum and coke,
which is so funny because it's Cuban,
right? But I feel like it's very much like a high school.
Oh yeah.
Entrance exam.
Oh yeah, like it's like, because there are so many because like the rum and coke is just Coke with a mustache. There's the White Russian, which is basically chocolate milk with a mustache. I'm just using a mustache, I guess, as a way to like sort of butch up non-alcoholic drinks.
Oh, mustaches mean masculine,
I guess. No, it's a little bit more assertive. Yeah, is all. Because it has alcohol in it now. But yeah, I feel like there's the rum and coke, the White Russian, Midori sours.
Doesn't rum and coke have a name?
It's a Cuba Libre.
But it has to. You also have to serve it with a wedge of lime.
Well, Cuba Libre, I believe, is actually you take a half of a lime, squeeze at the bottom of a glass, ice, rum, coke, and then you squeeze lime again. So she's limey. Like it is supposed to be a very lime heavy drink.
Okay.
At least as I've heard, if you want
sounds
traditional,
delicious.
I never actually drank one like that because it's like rum, coke, the end.
When it comes to mixers or coke as a mixer, I was very much a Jack and Coke person for a very long time, but then it's only ginger ale now.
Well, I never had a big taste for whiskey, so like I was like rum and coke, but I didn't really like rum in much else. I mean, a mojito was always fun, but like I'm not gonna make a bartender do that because that's just mean.
In 2009, you would go to the Abbey for a $20 mojito, and it was, again, pomp and circumstance. It was a lot for those bartenders to make, and there was a reason why it was $20. They're probably $40 at this point.
I imagine that it's got to be at least a $28 mojito.
There was the I want to say it was like probably 2007, 2008, where mojitos, like the wave of mojitos started hitting bars, because there was so many ingredients and so much to do to make them, and bars wanted the flair,
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd ever had raw sugar cane, because they serve it with like a stick of raw sugar cane.
And it looks so appealing, and then you bite into it, and it's not.
And it's just, it's just sweet bamboo that you can chew on.
But no, like I was a vodka guy for a while. Like I did vodka tonics actually, which I loved. And being in my mid-20s, having just a handful blackout situations or just drinking too much of vodka tonics turn me off from them forever. I cannot finish a vodka tonic if you paid me. Yeah. But then I went to a vodka soda, 2 limes. So good. So refreshing. Like, wonderful. Also, I could drink a straight up vodka martini. Like,
we had a lot of tonic water in the house growing up because my mom drinks it like soda. My mom just drinks tonic water on the rocks.
I drink club soda on its own.
Everybody does.
But I can't do tonic.
But yeah, tonic, my mom drinks as a soda. And it was so funny, like, I don't know, 10 years ago when I discovered there's diet tonic. And I was like, what do you mean diet tonic? Tonic water is just soda water. And they're like, no, there's actually quite a lot of sugar in it. I was like, what?
And the quinine or whatever the flavor is that makes it what it is. I think
it's pronounced quinine.
Quinine, whatever. I don't know. So I will believe you.
But we currently have little cans of tonic water in the house because Kendra, her drink of choice is a gin and tonic, which is my brother's drink of choice. And he's actually not allowed to drink them because he goes too ham and then he gets crazy.
Well, and gin is something that I have never developed a taste for. There's something like I've taken a sip and I've been like, no, thank you. And just walked away.
Just learned, we talked about this last month, 1 month ago, that gin is literally just vodka
with juniper berries, right?
That's flavored with juniper berries. Yeah.
Seriously, how could you ruin something so good?
I had no idea that gin is just flavored vodka.
But yeah, not my thing.
But anyway, I never got to tell the story about the Blade Runner bottle.
Sorry.
It's okay.
No, I thought we were all moving on because that was just the thing
I need to tell the story.
Oh, okay.
So much like the Beyonce whiskey, I think the very first like promotional zeitgeisty expensive bottle of alcohol that we bought was the Blade Runner bottle.
Which I hunted it down in Los Angeles.
Which is one of my favorite movies. And when I saw Harrison Ford drinking that Johnny Walker in the future from a square bottle that looked like a really long ice cube, I was like, that would be so cool if they actually made that. And then like 2 weeks after the movie came out, they're like, it's real and you can buy it. And I think it was like $100 a bottle. And I was like,
it was Johnny Walker Black and it was a special bottle. So it was kind of expensive.
Drinking whiskey at the time, but I just wanted it because I'm a sucker for packaging. The bottle was cool. It came in a really cool box. I did love whiskey at the time, but like I wasn't really actively drinking it. But I was like, if we ever get a house or we move into a place where we can set up an actual bar, I want that on our bar. And so Rob got it for me. I think as a Christmas gift or a birthday present, or
I don't remember.
Maybe just a present. It was a surprise.
I see things I like for you and I get them. I don't know.
It was so, I loved it so much and it was so beautiful. We kept it in the box. We didn't even display the bottle. Like we kept it in the box. Moved it from LA to Seattle, survived. Okay, we had it in Kirkland for however long we lived in Kirkland. Moved it from Kirkland to our new neighborhood, survived. Totally fine. And I got it out and I was finally, I think we'd already lived here for like a month, but this house has stone countertops, which I've never lived with before. And I didn't realize how destructive stone countertops are to things you set on them, because I was setting up our new bar in our house. Like we were still like in boxes, I think. And I was setting up the bar and I took it out and it kind of slipped out of my hand in the box. Like the bottle's in the box, but it kind of slipped out of my hand and it fell so perfectly on the stone counters that it shattered the bottle inside the box, and whiskey just started pouring out of the box, and it was a full bottle. They don't make them anymore, obviously, so it's very much a collector's item. And I panicked because it was all happening so fast, and I was like, do I pour it in a Tupperware to try to save the whiskey? And I was like, I didn't buy it for the whiskey, I bought it for the bottle, and the bottle's ruined. And like,
there's
it was
glass
just
in it now.
It was one of those things where it's like, it's gone. I have to accept that it's gone. I have to let it go and I have to move on. Like I was really bummed. It bummed me out so hard. And it wasn't because of the whiskey. Obviously it was because of the bottle. And it was just, I was like, you know what? I can't cry over this. This is too much stress. It's not coming back. Crying would do nothing. I'm just going to let it go.
Right.
And
well, it's like not to steal that emotion, but like I've had a couple of those recently, like just it's funny because we haven't really talked about this, but I'm doing a thing right now where I'm doing a project where I'm kind of cleaning and listening to and re-sleeving all of the record collection and deciding what comes and goes and getting rid of some stuff. And but I have been Mr. fucking Butterfingers lately, and like literally a record that wasn't super valuable, but it wasn't cheap. It wasn't like just a whatever record. Literally, as I was flipping it, slipped from my hand, and as I tried to come down to catch it, I just slammed the record down onto the platter and just put the widest, longest scuff across 2/3 of an entire side of record, and
trying to save it just made it worse. Like, had it just fallen, it might not have been as bad.
Seriously, falling to the floor, it might have been better than what I did to it. Trying to cat-like reflex slam it onto something.
Yeah.
And it's the nice thing is it's a 4-sided album. That side has 0 tracks that I like. So hey, it could be worse, but just knowing it's there really pisses me off because my collection is well maintained, and having
you take such good care of everything else that the fact that one thing got messed up is just it's going to sit in your brain.
It is just and here's the thing, I'm not going to pay the money to replace it. Like it's expensive enough that I'm not going to be like, I'll replace it and give this sell this version at a mega discount or give it to somebody. No, it's not worth replacing that much to me. So like,
it's not a record you listen to tons.
Yeah. So anyway, like but like that was the thing of like when it happened, I literally sat there and I was like, it happened.
Yep. I think that comes with age. Like we're in our 40s now, and it's like we can't dwell on this. Dwelling on it means nothing. We've dwelled on things in the past. You throw a big fit, you cry, and you're like, well, that isn't going to change anything.
Right.
So,
and I even thought, I was like, do I write a note on this thing so I know next time I take it out, like if I see this, I'm not surprised. And I was like, oh no, I will remember that it is there. And if I forget, then hey, you know what, that's a good thing because clearly then it wasn't that important to me.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, as of right now, I definitely remember, and it's still kind of getting my goat a little bit, but I'm moving on. I'm working on it.
Well, R.I.P. that record, and R.I.P. 2 years ago, our bottle of Johnny Walker from Blade Runner.
So have we covered all the hard booze now?
All the hard booze that I drink, because I do have tequila in the home, and occasionally I have that. There's this really delicious vodka. It's probably my favorite vodka. It's Smirnoff Tamarind flavored, and it's spicy. It's got like jalapenos in it.
I forgot about that.
It's
season for you.
Slightly spicy. It definitely hits me in like crave periods where I'm like, okay, this is all I'm drinking for a month, but it makes the best spicy margarita, and I will do usually like 2 ounces of the spicy vodka, and then I'll add an ounce of tequila because I want the tequila flavor. But like, I never shoot alcohol. Like, I don't take shots. I don't drink stuff neat. Like, I usually always have a bit of a mixer. I would say the closest thing I drink to pure alcohol would be an old fashioned, which is just whiskey with sugar and bitters in it and a decorative cherry. But I would say that's the closest thing I drink to pure alcohol. But I definitely don't like drink tequila on the rocks or take shots of tequila. I don't have a need for it.
Well, it's like, because I
and this is a good transition into beer, because that's our last thing we have to talk about.
When I was a young drinker, I was like Mr. Kamikaze shot followed by a beer. But like, then I understood the wonder of a tequila shot, because I don't like tequila that much on its own. I don't love a margarita. I often feel they're too sweet. Which, by the way, sorry, before we get into this, I have to at least mention one of my absolute favorite cocktails I think I've ever had. It was called a Burning Mandarin at Katsuya in Los Angeles, and it is served in a martini glass.
Sushi restaurant.
Yeah, designed by Philippe Stark, and it's served in a martini glass. It's basically like kind of like an orange martini, but it has a slice of, I believe, either Serrano or habanero chili in it, and you just leave the slice of it in it, and as you drink it, it kind of sits in that liquid longer and longer and longer, and as basically the drink gets lower and lower and lower, it just gets spicier and spicier and spicier. It's so good.
And it concentrates the chili.
Yeah, it's a nice subtle situation where you just keep taking away some of the liquid and just keeps getting stronger as it goes down when it comes to the heat. Anyway, love that. But no, tequila shots, huge fan. I have to do the whole ceremony though. I need the salt, I need the lime. If you would give me tequila on its own, I'm probably going to say no thank you.
You also need it chilled.
Yeah, I like it super, like I need a smooth, like I love like Patron Silver is my typical tequila of choice.
If I ever did a shot again, which honestly at this point I don't know if I could do shots and survive, but if I ever did a shot again, it always has to be shaken on ice. Like, I have to have a chilled shot.
Well, and Patron Silver, especially like if it's super chilled, it's like water. It doesn't have a ton of flavor to, it doesn't have a ton of flavor or kick to it, really, or even burn. And yeah, I mentioned before there was a place in Los Angeles called the Gold Room that did shots of Patron Silver with a chaser of like a mug of draft Dos Equis for like $2 more, and then they did rounds of carne asada tacos, which was like the greatest situation ever. And so like, I cannot recommend enough the ceremony of a tequila shot followed by beer and then a taco, and just repeat until you're ready to leave.
When it comes to tequila shots, I am definitely in the camp of tequila. Like We'll do too many, and then I'll literally be bedridden for 3 days.
Which is funny. I've yet to drink too much tequila or be sick from it. But also, it's typically something that I kind of start with tequila and then I move on. Like, I don't really finish the night with tequila.
It's so crazy to me that the new gay water, like obviously vodka soda is always going to be number one, but like tequila soda has stepped in, and a lot of, especially like drag queens and stuff, are doing tequila sodas. I've never done it, so I don't know what it tastes like, but I can't imagine it's great. I just don't like the taste of tequila that much.
There's a lot of people who say that tequila is less of a depressant like other alcohols.
Yeah, it's less of a hangover or
which
something.
I don't really necessarily buy that it's going to be like a stimulant. It's still alcohol, but like whatever. Whatever you takes to make you get that second wind and keep going. You do you.
I do have things that make me less hungover when I get drunk on them, but that's usually like a sugar factor, not so much an alcohol factor, you know?
Just propping yourself up with something else.
There definitely is like I want to say like a PR campaign for tequila right now that people are saying it does not cause hangovers.
Hey, they're doing their best on that PR
they're
spin.
They're trying.
All right, so on to beers.
But yeah, let's move on to beers.
All right, I enjoy beer quite a bit. I was
you're like that Supreme Court.
Yeah,
I like beer.
No, that's why I was like, we're gonna roll back on that one. I do enjoy beer. So back in LA, I was on a gay bowling league, and I used to go bowling and basically kind of like drink, just throw back, I don't know, 4 or 5 Bud Lights in an evening.
Sesh.
Yeah, in what, 3 bowling games. Yeah. Like, I'm fine with a Bud Light. I grew up. Jeez, I keep saying that like as if I was a child, but like I came of age as a drinker, drinking mostly Corona and Heineken. I drink a lot of like import beers.
I mean,
like,
we've been of drinking age for over 20 years. So
yikes! But yeah, like I drink a lot of like American import beers. So like nothing super crazy, but like one of my favorite beer, probably my number one. When it's like, I absolutely love Kirin Ichiban. Like, I love Japanese beer. Kirin's my number one from there. Guinness is one of my absolute favorite beers. I've yet to go to Ireland and have it from the place. I know everyone says
it's the best.
It's way better there.
Mother's milk.
It's still pretty damn good here, honestly.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, like I enjoy beer. I like typically super crisp lagers, especially with like pizza. That's like the greatest thing ever. I love beer and pizza.
One of my happy places, memories, thoughts that I visit often, and we used to go all the time, but Rob's family used to have a condo in San Diego, and we would go down to Del Mar
Beach, or the condo was in Del Mar.
Yeah, and there's a place there called Pizza Port, and they are a microbrewery and they make amazing pizzas, and you can get growlers and take extra beer home with you and all that stuff. And we would go to Pizza Port, and it's literally like, I'm thinking about it right now. It was always just like crowded, but the service was really, really fast. So it was always crowded. There's like pinball machines, there's families.
It's communal tables, long picnic benches.
The beer is so delicious. The pizza is so delicious. Like, I could almost cry thinking about how much I miss just a night. Like, I just want to go to Pizza Port.
Right. Pizza Port, like, there's not one thing there that I think you would regret getting. And honestly, they have they do like a cycle out of their taps and their of what they're brewing at the time. But one thing they tend to have year round is the California Honey, which is one of the most refreshing lagers you will ever drink. And I think they started canning it or bottling it in California.
Yeah, I got it before we moved. I got it at Ralph's.
Oh, seriously, California
Honey during the pandemic
is reason enough.
If you can find Pizza Port beer in the store, I'm sure they're still selling it. I hope they survive the pandemic.
I imagine they.
And California Honey was like the one they were selling. Go get it. It's so good. I miss Pizza Port so much. But pizza and beer, classic combo.
Yeah.
So delicious. It's like coffee and donuts.
Right? I love a beer. Not super skunky. I remember I used to drink Beck's, and I'm like, that is.
I love an amber.
But it's like, I love an amber as well.
And Beck's amber is really good.
But like the Beck's on its own is so hoppy. It's very skunky. I think I might have gone through an IPA phase to like look cool, but I don't really go towards IPAs. They taste too much like weed. Like, it literally just tastes like pure marijuana. I think I kept buying IPAs thinking that I liked them, but then not realizing what the common thread they had was. And so I don't care for IPAs. I don't like sours. I'm not a cider guy.
I love sours and I love cider. But if we're like at a barbecue and all there is IPA and someone's like, here, do you want this? Yeah, I'll probably drink it. Yeah. But I'm never going to go to the store and buy an IPA. I'm never going to order one at a bar.
Well, and also typically, since I usually am often having, beer with a meal, at least an IPA can kind of, You can cut it with food.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like casually sipping an IPA, I'm probably going to be making a face after every sip just because I can't help it.
Well, it's just like last night we had shepherd's pie from Costco and you had Guinness with it.
Seriously. And
Which I was like, wow,
good.
you're drinking. You never drink, but you were like, I want a Guinness.
Well, it kind of took me back to the Village Idiot, back off of
on
Melrose. Like, you know,
which that survived the pandemic, right? It's
I
still
hope
there?
so. Well, I imagine so.
I'll find out next month.
Right? Well, and seriously, and if you go there, you need to get a steak and potato pie in my honor with
and the
a Guinness.
fried Brussels sprouts.
Because seriously, that steak and potato pie is, I think, what gave me like my taste for the meat pie situation.
Like I'm going to be in LA for 17 days and I think I'm going to do just a tour of Todd and Rob of all of our favorite restaurants that if they still exist. Like I know that our Lala's on Melrose closed, but
the one in the Valley is still there,
a
right?
Lala's in Studio City.
Oh, you can get the pechuga de pollo. Oh man.
I might have to do like a whole episode while I'm in LA of just all the restaurants
seriously
that we're going to.
Well, and if you're able to still get like to go from Gardens of Taxco.
Oh,
like
that was so good. Yeah, they had to turn into a ghost kitchen because the restaurant closed. But
I know
all the recipes survived, and you could still get it as takeout. But yeah, Gardens of Taxco, the
Taxco chicken,
oh, so good, and the nachos and the quesadillas. Oh god,
I love how this What's Your Order has devolved from booze into everything else.
And it's funny how much like
booze goes with everything.
I don't want to like sound like we have a problem, but booze goes with everything, and a lot of especially restaurant meals are coordinated with alcohol.
Also, I like an Irish coffee.
Oh, I love it.
Like let's talk hot booze now.
I think I talked about that with Kendra maybe. Like that was like my first introduction to hot alcohol, and before that, because like I love hot sake because of Irish coffees. It's an acquired taste, but I love it now.
Well, and Bailey's. Bailey's is just one of those like Bailey's is such a good holiday sipping liqueur. I was like, that's not really anything. It's a liqueur, and it's basically just chocolate milk.
Well, and I'm going to warn you right now, kids. If you are new to Bailey's, do not get drunk on cream-based alcohols. Okay?
I don't know if you can get drunk on Bailey's.
Oh, you get a good buzz from Bailey's.
I feel like Bailey's, I would get sick before I get drunk. It's like getting drunk on vanilla. You're gonna throw up first.
It's literally just an alcoholic milkshake. Don't get drunk on alcoholic milkshakes. You will regret it.
Yes.
Okay. You can have one as a treat, but you can't have more than one. You gotta stop.
Like, Guinness milkshakes also very good, but like, you know,
Guinness chocolate cakes. I mean, it has so many uses,
right? And Guinness is a lower alcohol beer than others. It's not to say like it's that much of a difference.
They give it to pregnant women in Ireland.
It's got all the vitamins and minerals you need.
Yeah, I would say that Guinness is in my like top 3 beers.
Well, and I did not have. It's funny because I think Guinness had this like rap that it was like, oh, it's so heavy, blah blah blah. And I literally bought my first like 4-pack of it because Nigella Lawson makes a beef stew with a Guinness base, and I watched her make it, and I was like, that looks incredible,
delicious.
And so I bought my first like 4-pack of Guinness to make a Nigella recipe, and then so I had all these leftover beers, and I tasted them, and I was like, these are not nearly as scary as everyone made it sound like they were. And then, of course, 2 blocks from my apartment at the time was a gay bar that had a Guinness tap. And then
that sealed the deal.
True love was born.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a thing where like Nigella Lawson is actually why that was my reason to be open to the scariness that is the dark beer.
I would say my favorite beer is called Amberbach. It's made by Anheuser-Busch. It's an amber.
Was that the one that they have? No, it's Anchor Steam that they had on
Anchor Steam is at Akbar.
Yeah, I was
which is from San Francisco.
Yeah.
Which I love Anchor Steam. That's like if I'm drinking beer at Akbar, that's what I'm getting. It's their only beer on tap, but it's delicious. It's worth it. But yeah, Amberbach, it's on tap everywhere in Missouri because it's made by AB, and it's just so good. It's like my mom's favorite beer. I also love Newcastle. I love like an ambery, delicious lager.
And even then with beer, I am often willing to shrug my usual for the sake of a tap. Like as you should be.
When we went to lunch the other day, I was like, "Oh, we're eating in a restaurant that has like tons of beer on tap. I'm gonna get a beer," and I just got a Bud Light because I was like, "I just want like a beer." And he brought it in a bottle, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. They only have Coors Light on draft." I was like, "Damn it! I just wanted like a glass of draft beer."
You know. But then we also live just across the bridge from the Ballard Brewery District, which is just full of so many options,
like
including
15 amazing little breweries,
including just
so fun.
Shout out to Obet's, one of our favorites. That is very, very, very dog friendly and very under 21 unfriendly, and we love that.
Like you cannot. That's one of the ones you cannot bring a child to.
Yep. Sorry, your kids in a stroller.
Love to bring kids to a brewery and a bar, But Obet's is like, nope, not here.
Your
dogs
kid is,
only.
Your kid's literally swaddled and strapped to you. Nope.
Yep.
Under 21 cannot come.
Sorry, you gotta leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I and then finally, I would say, unless we're missing anything else, is seltzers, which I don't think you drink White Claw ever. Do you? We did when we went to Vegas.
When they first came out at like a work function, I'd be like, well, I'll have a cherry, thing, because I like cherry seltzers anyway. But I find I can't finish them unless they are. I don't drink them fast enough to finish them before they get warm, and then they just start
flat.
Yeah, and then they just start kind of giving me like excess acid. They're just kind of burny, and I don't like them. So I love the concept of a flavored seltzer or an alcoholic seltzer. I think that's a very cool idea. I just don't drink enough to think that's what I need.
I go through phases of seltzers for some reason. Like once a year for like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll drink nothing but White Claw. Like that's all I'm drinking, or Trulies. And
it
then
feels so summery.
I'll get it out of my system and then I'll move on. Because like last year when my parents came to visit us, I was in a White Claw segment, and my mom bought me a Kraken tall can koozie. My mom loves a koozie.
She does. She brings her own koozies to restaurants.
Susie loves a koozie. Yeah, she's that lady that brings her own koozies to restaurants. Yeah. She loves a koozie.
And your sister-in-law is also and your brother are also
White Claw drinkers.
White Claw drinkers, because I remember we had to get like that for them when they came to visit.
Yeah, Scott and Sarah love a Michelob Ultra and a White Claw. That's like their go-to beveraginas.
Oh, which, speaking of like kind of Michelob Ultra kind of thing, this is just a thing that I miss, and this is something that I do whenever I'm in St. Louis. Bud Select.
Yeah, which Bud Select is national, but only the super, super low-cal one.
Yeah, Bud Select 55 or whatever it is.
But like traditional Bud Select apparently is literally only brewed for the St. Louis market. And so you can get it everywhere there, but that's it. They do not ship it around the country at all.
And Bud Select was originally produced as a low-carb beer. It was basically the Michelob Ultra. It was their Bud Ultra in a sense. And it was so good because it actually tasted good. And like, if you were counting calories or carbs, whatever, it was like, well, it's less terrible for you than the other beer. And I remember drinking so much Bud Select in my last years of college, because they were everywhere at the time. It was national. Then they took it away and gave us only like the Bud Select 55, which is like not as good.
Yeah.
And so whenever we go visit Todd's family, I am so excited that I can get Bud Select. It feels so special to me. And of course his family's like, why is Rob just like pounding Bud Select all the time? And I'm like, I can't get it at home.
And also my mom always stocks up on Guinness for you, because like she knows you like Guinness, but like she thinks that's all you drink. So like my mom's always like, I got Guinness for Rob, and I was like, he likes other things.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I do. But then I feel terrible though, because I don't finish all the Guinness because I'm so busy getting excited about local stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the best things about growing up in St. Louis is it is an Anheuser-Busch test market. So like you get a lot of things, you get a lot of AB things in St. Louis that you don't get anywhere else. And my favorite it was called B to the E, and the E was like, cubed, like when you'd write numbers, like 5 cubed, but instead of a 3, it was an E. So it was B to the E, and it was Budweiser mixed with Red Bull, or an energy drink, but it tasted like Red Bull. And it was such an acquired taste, and it was so weird. And it came in cans. You could only get a 4-pack. And like, I think it said on the can, do not drink more than 4, because they were pretty much half a Red Bull. And it was such a weird thing, but the flavor, like, I'll never forget it. It was almost like tropical Pepsi. I'll remember that flavor for the rest of my life. I'll always be chasing it.
Was it we actually did the Anheuser-Busch tour the first time I went to Missouri to visit, and it was funny because, like, obviously AB brews so many import.
They've kind of scooped up and domesticized a lot of imports.
Yeah. And so it's funny because like at the end you get like samples of stuff. And I want to say I think I got like a Bud Heavy because you got it. And then the other thing I got was like a super fresh Stella, which was so good.
Yeah.
But
that was my favorite thing when everybody, when all the crazies tried to boycott Bud Light last year for supporting
I'm
trans
moving on
people.
to another beer brewed by the same company.
Oh, honey, AB owns all of those.
Yeah.
You're not boycotting the brand at all.
Yeah.
You're just not drinking Bud Light. And it's very funny. Yeah. But... well, yeah, I think that's every booze.
I feel like that was pretty good.
I think that's every booze that we drink in this home.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything we missed.
Right?
But yeah, like we said we talked about like celebrity one-offs of booze. I also love a lot of brands do a Pride bottle, and I will buy it. I have the Absolute Pride bottle. There's that tequila brand. I bought the tequila just because it came in a rainbow bottle. So if you slap a celebrity or a Pride rainbow on a bottle of alcohol, I'm buying it.
Which most booze companies are smart enough to do the rainbow thing because the gays love to drink.
Right?
They're very good
hand
at it.
in hand.
Like we are good at it.
We are the world. But well, that was a great episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. I think it's a good time to call it because it has been over an hour and I'm very hungry and maybe I might go take a shot.
The thing you say you don't do.
The thing I don't do, but we talked about it so much. I'm like, oh, maybe I want that.
You're so suggestible.
Let's go get some lunch, huh?
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting, and let us know. Thank you for letting us know when we forget things, and let us know if we forgot anything that we should talk about. We're happy to do housekeeping. But having said all that, we'll see you guys next week. We love you. Goodbye.